During this long lifetime, I have been spared of exhaustion and monotony by virtue of my endless work schedule and appointments. How the days are passing by speedily in a regular way through the networking of series of engagements is beyond any comprehension. Series of incidents have been so skillfully arranged by nature herself that no scope has been left for any depression or frustration to disturb me anyway. But in other walks of life, the experience will be contrarily different. Suppose you are going to Delhi by train. It will hardly make a difference whether you are going by first class or the third class. You will feel tired and depressed just in 2 days, sitting tight in your seat. It becomes very difficult to keep patience. Reminiscing experiences of my early days in my native village, where one had to travel by boat to reach relatives in hamlets, far and near, rowing on and on as if there's no end. Co-passengers would start gossiping or playing cards just to kill time and overcome agony. People would ask, out of depression, "How far, boatman?" Now I find it is the way of life designed by nature for all, man and beast and bird, preoccupied for all the time to come. None feels free even on completion of given tasks. People rue for tasks or jobs unfinished, even up to the end of his career. There are the tricks played by nature, dissatisfaction for unfinished commitments. Our life is composed of all such issues and functions, big or small, arranged by the skillful hands of nature herself. Divergent factors are knit together to make the whole. Look at our physical body. It's made up by innumerable limbs and organs which are thickly interconnected. You cannot break or undo the total unit. Human society is a canvas showing the admixture of peace and turmoil, tranquility and unrest, gain and loss. Now, intelligent people have devised some ways and means with a view to overcoming the impending perils and vicissitudes. The devices and the way out are now very well known to the common folk, to mention only a few that are in practice hoping relief and extenuation. Amidst the fissures and fatigues of life, wherever one might gain a bit of relief or redress from the misfortunes of life, that will be of immense value and joy, in spite of the fact that such joy or relief will be lasting for a short period and always inconsistent. Man turns to diverse systems and practices, publicized in the name of religion. Once your problem is solved, there may or may not be any further need for such prescribed practices. However, instances of continuity are also very few. Man's life is full of remorse and repentance. Indecision and lack of confidence are major threats on our journey towards the coveted goal. Lapses will happen here and there, which cannot be prevented. But you may lose mental calm and concentration. Then it will take time for you to regain strength and steadiness. That will give you some sort of freshness, alacrity, and energy. Life is full of such experiences, as if we are passing through a play of light and shadow. Though apparently contrary, yet our life is a combination of varied elements, sometimes of our own making, or by natural sequence. In fine, that is the process by which we continue our task of gaining the cherished objectives of life. It sounds ridiculous that threats are removed and fortune reappears in life in nature's own way. Man gives all credit to some imaginary god or deity and offers ritual presentations to them as if all the change came through divine blessings. Ultimately, it is found that no radical change in man's fate could be effected by arbitrary and baseless manipulation. We are used to such deception. You jump upon a tree impulsively and then fall down. causing injury to your limbs. You are carried to a place of health care. After some treatment, you recover and regain physical fitness. You feel happy and fresh, as if you gained something new. But in fact, your lost health and energy have been restored. Basically, no fresh gains for you. Such is the case of a businessman who invests some capital hoping some profit in return. But owing to his misfortune, no profit comes in his way. Rather, he runs the risk of capital erosion. If and when he somehow succeeds in saving his principal money from total loss, he feels fortunate enough, as if that was a big gain for him. In fact, he has simply recovered what he was going to lose forever. Even then he feels reassured and happy, as if he was blessedly fortunate. In this, misfortune plays its own role as the precursor of good luck or fortune by grace. That is why nature's message becomes clear to us. You are destined to resume the position originally held by you, even though you had to pass through different arduous courses and experiences. Restoration gives joy and reassurance. It is comparable to the rhythmic patterns of music. The melody may branch out to multiple rhythmic channels of tunes, yet you have arrived at the harmony of tunes at the end. Rhythmic coherence must be sustained to avoid anomaly of the main theme of muse. That's how balance is maintained. Admittedly, there will be the darkness of the new moon, as well as the brightness of the full moon, one succeeding the other. Experience of the darkness of the night gives place to joy and energy as light shines out bright in the morning. We get a feel of the oncoming full moon, to be followed soon by the darkness of the new moon. It is refreshing and reassuring in our life. That is how nature establishes itself through many examples of contrary positions only, and those are to be harmonized in peace and tranquility that we pine for. But at times we transgress and cross the bounds of reason and fairness. That is why often our small gains in life slip off our hands. Yet, that must not be taken as the end of all. A few flashes of light and hope here and there would be indications enough that good tidings are to break out before long. While we cannot prevent dissatisfaction and unrest, what might come in nature's own course, we can achieve nevertheless whatever is wholesome and good for life through such tortuous processes. You have to collect honey from the beehive, even though you may have to bear up with the stings of the enraged bees. Even while you feel overpowered with the shadow of death, you may still dare death's challenge quite playfully. You have fun and joy even from the gloom. That's the true message of nature, to enliven us amidst crises enveloping our living and life. How is it possible to embellish the cold feelings of death by the spirit of joy? Such skeptic questions are likely to come up. Think of a citizen who goes to visit his village home once a year. When he gets back, the atmosphere of a small ancestral old household. Although his city life is quite nice and rich, this person feels bound by a nostalgic bond with his petty village home and eagerly awaits the next visit. He is busy in planning the ways he can do some good for that place, which type of gifts to be given. He might even happily distribute all his earnings and savings out of his city career. Such thoughts give him strength and energy for hard work. Back in his own cottage, he passes the days quite happily, unmindful of other attachments. Our life should be based on such a model, I feel. Our longevity is limited to 100 years only. at the highest, and we are also conscious of this. So we have to chart out our action programs in this life according to the time frame. We must be resolute in our duties, but never should we be entrenched into the unwarranted depths of matter unknown. As our days are nearing the close, we shall have to return to the baseland from where we have emerged. If we keep the inevitable truth in mind and guide our way through an active career here on proper lines, we shall then be able to outgrow all limitations and thereby transform the shadow of death into the positive splendor of joy. The substance of what I say is that such turns of fate, actions and reactions need not bother you at all. Duties and obligations must be carried out, maintaining balance in all respects. This will yield good results, I am sure about it. At the same time, this will relieve the society of mutual bickerings and dissensions. All our complaints of life and living here are but trivial and temporary. As such, it behoves us to make compromises and adjustments with the odds on our way. We feel as if we are train passengers. We board the train as scheduled and reach our destination in due course. There isn't much time to get involved in unnecessary debates or trivial disputes. Our main concern is to complete the assigned job without any lapses. That is the way for the happy end of the destined workload. Be sure of that, and keep free from all violent squabbles over immaterial and petty issues. While we are in a foreign land, we feel happy to see some known faces there, and at once we give a hearty welcome to them, and we feel their company very sweet. Thus our mutual relation grows very dear, and we try to give a helping hand wherever any trouble or problem befalls them. A spirit of fellow feeling and cooperation develops as a natural course. Just like that, we feel as if we ourselves too are now staying in a foreign country. We feel kinship with each other and try to develop a spirit of love amongst us. Those who are bereft of such vision and feelings of intimate relationships are creating complications in the community. As a result, they are suffering as much as others too are put to inconvenience. Inside us, there is the complex of good and bad, reason and emotion, sense and nonsense. In fact, as a law of nature, we are made of these instincts. We should seek the guideline inherent therein, as if gifted by nature, as the cue to resolve the mysteries of creation. The lessons are also provided therein as directives for us for the future course of action, deemed obligatory. Unless you make an in-depth study of the floating indications, the mysteries of creation will not be revealed. That's what is happening now, as rarely anybody is found to pay heed to this task. But you will be amply rewarded if you exert yourselves and make sincere efforts. Nature will then turn mirror-like for her own exposure. Sitting idle and whiling away your time will take you nowhere. You observe, the sky is an open blank space, nothing more. But it is the center of all mystic postures of nature, as if awaiting the opportune moment to bloom. Only if discerning efforts are made in an attitude of scientific investigation, not out of mere curiosity. We have been endowed with sufficient skill and inherent capability to unfold all such complex issues laid out in nature. We are only to make proper use of that virtue lying dormant inside us. That's the way for us to unveil the true significance of the mystic cycle of the source of our origin, the purpose for which we are brought here, and what is our destination. You can work it out as a mathematical problem. The figures are all before us. We need to know how to calculate and adjust the figures, evens and odds alike, just as correlation and adjustment of mental unrest and tranquility. It is imperative that we research and continuously practice to get the results. Otherwise, it is all pointless to waste time and labor. You must win nature's secrets by constant quest and inquisitiveness. That is the process you will need to pursue. Then only will you be rewarded by revelation and genuine bliss.